You ever have one of those days where you come home, keys jangling in your hand, already picturing your feet up and a cold drink in your favorite chair, only to find a total stranger standing in your kitchen, ironing shirts, acting like you're the intruder? Yeah, that was me, frozen in my own house, on my own land, staring at this lady in a faded apron who had the audacity to look me dead in the eye and say, "This is HOA property now." No warm greeting, no awkward apology, just straight-up territorial, like she'd been rehearsing this speech for weeks. Groceries in the fridge with her name written in Sharpie, family photos lined up right where my grandfather's blueprints were supposed to be. Oh, and a shiny little badge waving in my face like she was running for sheriff of my living room. She's glaring at me, chest puffed up, one hand on her hip, the other practically ready to slap handcuffs on me. And I'm standing there, 2 hours up a mountain road that chewed up my suspension, wondering if I just hallucinated the whole thing. You ever feel like you missed a memo, and now the world's playing an elaborate prank on you? Because that's how it felt. I'd bought the place sight unseen. Yeah, rookie move, I know, but I was chasing the kind of peace and quiet you only get when the nearest neighbor's a mile of bad gravel away. Instead, I get surprise roommates, fresh curtains in the windows that were empty last time I checked, and a car in the driveway that sure as hell wasn't mine. The housekeeper. She answers the door mid-iron. Hair up, dish towel slung over her shoulder, just cool as can be, raises her phone and calls out, "Yes, this is HOA security. I have a trespasser inside the dwelling." You could practically hear the capital letters. That's when I started filming because if this was a shakedown, I wanted evidence. She's got her act down pat. Official documents in neat stacks, framed certificates, even a plaque on the mantle. "This house is under emergency oversight," she says, like she's reading off a cue card. After the previous owners passed, the HOA got authority to maintain the property. During fire season, I'm Mullen Pierce, design review chair and fire safety liaison. She didn't just sound rehearsed, she sounded convincing. Almost. I wasn't born yesterday. I had my deed, title, and insurance, all legit. I show her. She barely looks, waves me off like I'm a kid trying to sneak into a club. That's wonderful, but emergency authority supersedes individual ownership when safety's at risk. Can you imagine the gall? My own house, and she's lecturing me like I'm late on rent. Every room I check, her clothes in my closet, her eggs in my fridge, her mail on the counter. Addressed to Misha Pierce, fire safety. Even a file labeled property protection. Inside, an abandonment report dated 1 day after I closed on the sale. 1 day? The HOA can't approve a mailbox. Color in 3 months. But they file abandonment in 24 hours? Yeah, something stunk. Then the sheriff shows up, Deputy Santos, square-jawed, not in the mood for drama. He takes our IDs, listens to both sides, checks my paperwork. Mullen keeps rambling about supervisory oversight. He finally sighs and says, "Looks like a civil dispute, not criminal trespass. Settle it through the proper channels." And just like that, she's still living there and my phone buzzes. My renovation permit frozen, no construction allowed until this HOA claim is cleared. 15 grand in contractor. Deposits swirling the drain, loan payments due, and I can't even get into my own house. That's when I swallow my pride and go see Harold Brennan, closest neighbor, white beard, glasses. A living archive of HOA dirt. His living room smells like library and pipe smoke, and he's got every HOA document from the last decade in color-coded binders. We lay out my stack of legal docs and start digging. Harold's not buying it either. HOA never moves this fast unless they're hiding something, he grumbles. We scan the meeting minutes. Nothing about my property, no notice to the new owner, not a single sign-off. Then we find it. A meeting 1 day after my closing, rubber stamping caretaker subsidies for a vacant mountain property. Mullen got herself $800 a month to live in my house. That's not all. Harold shows me a pattern. Other properties. Owners die, house sits, caretaker moves in, HOA votes a stipend, no questions. Same deal every time. And here's the kicker. Mullen's subsidy kicked in the same week I bought the place, locking me out before I ever had a chance to move in. This wasn't just a nosy neighbor, it was a whole system. Think that's wild? Buckle up. I take my paperwork and Harold's research to the county inspector, trying to get my permits back. Inspector Williams, tough as nails, listens while I spill it all. Next thing I know, Mullen rolls in, suit and badge, with a binder of evidence, photos of hazards, reports on fire risks, the whole shebang. She's got video clips of loose deck railings, burned outlets, overgrown brush. I lay out my proof. Ownership, tax bills, the works. Inspector Williams flips through both piles, then sighs. This is messier than a standard permit. HOA's got interim rights for abandoned properties, but a legal sale usually ends that, unless there's a real hazard. Right on cue, Mullen starts pushing her reports, highlighting every little flaw, real or not. She's way too ready, almost like she staged half this stuff. Williams calls for a site inspection, both sides present, witnesses allowed. Mullen's grinning like she's already won. But that night, Harold and I are up late, replaying everything. Her confidence isn't normal. She's not worried because she thinks she can't lose. Inspection day. There she is, cooking dinner, humming like she owns the place. I push. How much is the HOA paying you? She stalls, then finally admits it. $800 a month. I ask for receipts. She shrugs. Not my job to show you the books. Red flag, right? I press harder. When does your authority end? She grins. When the HOA considers transferring control. Considers, not automatically, not after a sale, just whenever they feel like it. But here's the thing. The house is spotless. She's done a solid job keeping it up. And I'll admit, when she says, you should be thanking me for protecting your investment, I almost spit out my coffee. Then comes the site inspection. Mullen's pointing at hazards, loose railings, broken outlets, pulled gutters. But Williams, Harold, and I start noticing, they're all freshly messed with. Bolts unscrewed by hand. Outlet covers yanked off, gutters dented by recent tools. Every hazard staged. And in the kitchen, Williams finds a notebook. Mullen's own handwriting, a step-by-step how-to on faking violations. Loosen railings. Photograph exposed wires. Pile brush. It's like finding a bank robber's checklist in the vault. Williams calls it right there. Permits unfrozen. HOA authority over. My house is mine again. But that night, I'm restless, Harold too. We swing by the house, and there she is, Mullen, cordless drill in hand, cutting through deck supports, about to make a real hazard. Not just a staged one. We catch the whole thing on camera. Cops show up, Santos leading, body cam rolling, and Mullen goes out in cuffs for criminal mischief and reckless endangerment. 3 weeks later, court day. Mullen in jail orange, her badge gone. Prosecutor lays out fraud, sabotage, theft, the works. Harold testifies. The judge's face gets tighter every minute. 18 months in county, full restitution, permanent restraining order. HOA forced to audit every penny, open the books, boot her for good. And me? I got my house back, Harold as property manager. Place better than ever. Insurance covered repairs, permits clear, and Mullen's restitution paid for the upgrades. Sunsets on a new deck, coffee in hand, finally feels like home. Yeah, poetic justice. But you know what? Sometimes the real enemy isn't the person squatting in your house. It's the system that lets them get away with it. Until someone calls their bluff. So let me ask you, what would you have done? Would you have blown up or played it smart? Ever had someone try to take what's yours, wearing a fake badge or real authority? Drop your stories below, share with someone who loves a wild plot twist, and tell me where you stand on justice and community, because not every badge is earned, and sometimes the quiet ones fight the hardest.